March 14th, 2012, my son Thomas lost his battle with the disease of addiction. I now belong to a club that no parent should ever belong to. Do you know the signs? Do you know the trends that children are doing in today's world? Do you know the signs and symptoms? Do you know the signs and symptoms of drug abuse? I want to empower and educate Long Islanders by bringing a force of professionals and how to prevent the disease of addiction. Long Island in Crisis. Good evening and welcome to Long Island in Crisis. This show is dedicated to people that are struggling with the disease of addiction, families who are struggling with their loved one's addiction, and just to empower and educate people on this insidious disease. People don't make a choice to become an addict or have an addiction problem. It isn't a choice, it is a brain disease. And the stigma of the disease and people seeking help needs to stop. I lost my son Thomas 3 years ago, and we all need to come together as a society to try to save this next generation and to save all the other people that are struggling with this disease silently. It looks to separate families and cause an unbelievable ride that nobody ever wants to go on. My special guest tonight is Stephen Dodge. And welcome back, Stephen. Thanks for coming back. We just didn't have enough time when you were here. And look at the face of recovery.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
You are an amazing testimony, and I love the way you live recovery. I love the way you dedicate yourself and empower yourself to be a better you every single day. That's
my goal of every day, you know.
That should be everybody's goal of every day. It's my goal of every day.
Recovery or not, yeah.
Recovery or not. If you're not on a journey of learning something new every day, then what is life, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I just came back from being in the Holy Land in Jerusalem and on really a spiritual journey, and there is a reason, there is a plan and a purpose for everyone's life. And you just got to look for it, and you got to listen to that voice in your head that is your higher power. And everybody can hear that voice. Sometimes you choose not to.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally agree with that.
Yeah. It's a crazy ride. But the last time you were here, we got you, you had some journey.
Yeah.
To Florida and bringing your family to the place that they just didn't want to go. But they were there. And by the grace of God and you finding the strength and really, I'm going to say, finding your higher power, was that a big thing for you when you surrendered to that?
Yeah, that was probably the most difficult, I guess, biggest hurdle you could say, especially in early recovery, you know. I had all these ideas and thoughts of what I thought God was, you know, and today I understand that had to be smashed. It had to be totally smashed in order for me to build a relationship with what I consider God today, you know.
That's your ego. Your ego gets an idea, you know, everybody's ego does.
I'm not saying the religion I was brought up in teaches this, but the way I perceived it when I was little was that there was an all-punishing God. You know, I had to be good or else I'm going to hell. And then, I was so bad that, so I guess I'm going to hell, you know?
Exactly.
And, if there was a God, what'd he ever do for me, you know? Everybody was on my back. The world was out to get me, you know? Then when I was able to be open-minded and willing enough to grasp the idea of God to my own understanding, you know, I was able to build a relationship that way, you know?
And the word surrender, I think, just scares people.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you give up your will.
This is the only disease that you surrender and actually win, you know?
And
is the only thing that you surrender and actually win.
absolutely. But, you know, in life, you have to let go of your ego sometimes and be humble enough to know that there might be a better way than the one that you came up with. Because obviously, your idea while you were in the grips of your disease, your ideas of what was working certainly wasn't working.
I mean, my best thinking on my own, the best place it got me was like in the rooms of a 12-step program, you know?
Right.
That's like the only good place my own thinking got me.
And from there,
you know, I was able to connect and, you know, actually embrace a program. Listen, I had no choice. It was either I accepted spiritual help or I continue to be miserable, and if I'm lucky, die, because that's how miserable I was. You
yeah.
know?
And, you know, through people say to me, you know, because I will tease people because I just say I'm God's favorite because he does so much for me. He does, you know, and people cannot sometimes comprehend how I could say that because they say, look what God did to you. God didn't take Thomas away from me. Thomas made a decision at some point in his life. He was young and old, and young and foolish, right? He didn't know that he would become addicted from his first try at a substance. That was just his luck of the draw.
Yeah, you know, it's all about like finding the message in everything, you know.
Absolutely.
Because like I truly believe God is in everything, you know. And
Without
like,
a doubt.
If like it's sad, but like if that never happened, you wouldn't have been able to help all the people you help today. You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's exactly my point. Thomas made a decision, but my prayers for a strong, peaceful Thomas were answered. Not
Just
how
not
I
the way
envisioned.
you wanted it to happen, yeah.
And that's usually the way.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get what you want. You get what you need or what the other person needs. So if I'm a mom and I want the best, I know that him and I were put here just for the very fact that what we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas's story helps so many other people. It was his journey to be exactly where he is.
Yeah.
Does that make me not believe in recovery? Absolutely not.
It's a miracle for somebody to get sober, you know.
It is
it
a
truly
miracle.
Is. And like I've been to like at least 15 funerals the past 2 years, you know, two and a half years. And like these are people that came into the rooms of recovery and either couldn't or wouldn't put like the principles into practice in their life, and like now they're dead. Zero chance of recovery. You know?
Zero chance of recovery. But you know, unfortunately, sometimes people string together some clean time, and then for whatever the reason, that stupid voice comes in their head and they go, just one more time.
Yeah.
And that one more time is...
Well, that's the easiest chance for overdose when you have a period of
Absolutely.
abstinence before it, you know.
Yeah.
And like that's why like if like that could be me tomorrow, you know, like if I'm not continuing to grow on my spiritual plane, like I know that like if I'm not moving away, I'm moving towards. You know, there's no standstill.
You have to stay in the light.
Yeah.
Because there's always those two voices, right?
Yeah.
One that says, come on, Stephen, you know this isn't working for you. Remember how much fun we used to have? Come on, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I'm sure you still hear that voice.
Yeah, I mean, it would be weird if I didn't get thoughts, you know, because I'm an addict, you know, like if I didn't get thoughts, I would probably be questioning, am I an addict, you know, but like I still get those thoughts, but like I understand that I'm not responsible for my thoughts, I'm just responsible for the action I take after the thought, you know. So like when I get a thought, what am I going to do? You know, the stuff that I was taught to do.
Right.
You know?
So what do you do when you get a thought? Do you seek out a meeting right away? Do you call your sponsor?
Not anymore, you know, early recovery, yeah, I was in meetings 3 times a day, you know.
Okay.
I wanted to live at that point, you know. I still
Because I think this is important for people to understand. You know, in early recovery, you have to make those phone calls.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, I'll go to a meeting today or like maybe not tomorrow. I was in meetings, you know what I mean? I was going to meetings. They said make 90 meetings in 90 days. I probably made at least 200, you know, in the first 90 days. So
you were committed.
I was committed. Listen, there's no middle of the road solution, you know what I mean? It's not like I can cotton pick what I think might work for me and what won't. You know, like I have to do everything. I don't know what keeps me sober, you know? So like I do everything. I'm not stopping anything because I don't know what's the one thing that might be keeping me sober and what's not, you know?
Wow. That's a great statement.
Yeah.
That's a great statement. How many meetings do you go to now?
I go to about 4 a week. now.
Okay.
You know, I have like almost 2.5 years, but I can go to more. Like the main objective of today of me going to a meeting is to find a newcomer that I can help, because like that's exactly what the program is. Like when all else fails, work with another alcoholic or addict. Like that's the cure. You know, that's what
that
it
is the cure. To
You know,
give away what was given
accompanied
to
with
you.
a conscious concept, you know, a conscious connection with a higher power. But like other than that, like I work with another alcoholic or addict. Like even like if I feel something's going wrong with me, I don't call my sponsor. I call somebody with less time than me. You know what I mean? And see
Okay.
how they're doing. Because that's really me stuck in self. So when I'm stuck in self, I do something selfless, and then 100% of the time, it works every time.
Of course it works.
Yeah, and that's what the program is.
And that's right.
You know, I clean house, I trust God, and I help others. Like that's it. You know.
So as long as your side of the street is clean, you're in a good place.
Yeah. Well, I have to continue to work on me, because if I'm not working on me, I'm going to be blocked off from God. If I'm blocked off from God, I can't be of service to anybody else. You know, like if God speaks to other people, like that means He speaks through me too. You know,
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So if He's speaking through me, I have to work on me so that He can portray a positive message through me. You know, and I could be that vessel that God uses to speak through. I might be the only example of a 12-step program that somebody ever sees. Not everybody makes it into the rooms, you know? So it's like I have to do this always, like all the time, inside and outside of the rooms, you know?
So powerful, too, I think, for young people coming in, especially young people coming into the rooms, to see another young person.
Well, yeah, that was my biggest fear. You know, my biggest fear, like, oh my God, like, is my life over? I'm going to be going to these meetings with these old people, like sipping coffee, talking about how crappy their life is, you know, and like that's what I thought my life was to be. But like, listen, at that point, I was like, okay, you know, like that's what my life's gonna be. But I was so scared of not being able to find people my age that were like having fun and like doing like the right thing, you know. And then I found like young people meetings, and I found my home group. You know, a home group is just like a group close to your home that like I attend regularly. I get a commitment in, and you know, I do service in. And I found that, and it's a young people's meeting in Long Beach, you know, right by my house. And those are like the kids I started hanging out with. You know, I got fully invested in that particular meeting, you know, and like that's where I made all like my close, sober friends, you know, and like the people that I met and I made friends with, like real relationships, you know, not like codependent, like what can I get from you, what can you get from me? Like these kids, like I can call at 2 in the morning, say I need help, and I know they'll be there, you know. That's
awesome, because I know that, especially young people that I speak with too, sometimes they'll say, well, you know, alcohol was never my drug of choice, so it's okay if I drink.
I said that too, you know?
Right, it's okay. You know, I did heroin, so I could smoke a joint every once in a while, and it's not going to be okay.
It's not. I know from experience. You know?
Right.
I had like 3 months when I came home from treatment, and I wasn't really working a program. I was just showing up at meetings. You know, I was still sharing just to sound good. I was still like manipulating, creating angles. I was just taking up a chair in a room. That was really it, you know. And like this is a program of action. It's not like a sit in a chair program, you know.
Right.
So like if I'm not taking action, like what am I really doing there? If I'm not working the 12 steps and I'm in a 12-step program, like I'm really not in the program, you know.
Correct.
So like that's what I was doing. I was just showing up at these meetings. And I was sharing just so everyone thought I sounded good, and it was like all ego driven. And one day, like the thought came across my head, like I can take a shot, you know. I'll take one shot, like you know, like a normal kid. So I thought, you know, and so I took a shot, and I had no defense, like you know. So I took a shot, and that led to 2, and 2 led to 4, 4 led to 8. And next thing I knew, I woke up in the morning, I blacked out, you know. I was like, how did I get here again? You know, I won't. Now I know I won't do that again. And that night I blacked out again. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like a rude awakening. Like wow, like maybe I am an alcoholic. And then I had to stop and think of my whole drinking experience and throughout my whole life. I've never not drank alcoholically in my life.
I know you mentioned when you were here that you were 10 when.
But every single time I've drank, it's always either I blacked out or we ran out of alcohol. There was never a time where I had 2 beers, ever.
You just can't.
I can't.
It's not a choice.
I take 1 sip, 1 hit, one anything, one puff, anything. I have 0 control over how much I'm doing, where I end up, who I end up with, what else I end up doing, like that all goes out the window, because I have what's called the phenomenon of craving. You know, so I take one, the phenomenon of craving kicks in, and then my mind becomes obsessed, and then my body physically craves it. Like I need it. I have no control. It's all out of my control.
That's what people need to understand. It's not a choice that you make.
Yeah.
For somebody who suffers with this disease. It just takes over.
Yeah, and like that's why it's all about staying away from the first one.
Right.
You know?
Of course.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, as a young person, how old are you?
I'm 25.
You're 25.
I just look 18.
So you have a lot of fun at the age of 25 doing things that don't include the use of substances.
I've never had more fun in my life. You know?
Right.
Like,
because you're there
like
for
my life
it.
today, like it doesn't even hold a candle. You know, my old life doesn't even hold a candle to like what I have going on today. Like there's uncomparable. Sometimes I'm in awe of like how good my life truly is. You know, and I still go to shows, I still go to raves, I still go to festivals, I go wherever I want to go because I'm a free man. You know?
Yeah,
if I had to choose, like honestly, I wouldn't recommend it in early recovery. But like I go to the bar. You know, if I have proper motive and like reason to be somewhere, and my motives are correct, and I'm spiritually connected, you know, I go, you know, because if I didn't go to a place where they're serving alcohol, it means alcohol still runs my life, and
Absolutely.
then I'm not free, you know. I'm free today. You know, I could go anywhere I want to go.
We're going to
and
talk.
I could save money too. And go.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I want to talk about that, but we'll be right back after this commercial.
Hi, I'm Tatiana, and I'm a person in long-term recovery from heroin addiction. It was really, really hard, waking up in the morning, not knowing what to do, needing my next bag. I was so lost, but I'm here today to tell you that there is a solution. When I was in my active addiction, I didn't realize that there was another way of life. I thought that that was the only way, because it felt so good to get high, but it was all an illusion, and I didn't realize that. But today, being 4 years clean and sober, my life is absolutely amazing. I'm able to travel, I don't need a drink, I don't need a drug. I'm just happy being with myself. I couldn't understand for many years why was I doing this? It's because I was an addict, but I didn't know it. Today, many kids are becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol, but they don't know exactly what they're getting into until they're out of it. And it's our job, it's my job, to stand for these kids, stand for their recovery, and fight for their addiction. So I'm the president of Onward Forever, and I provide recovery services and support. And we're here to help. We're here to just listen. Anything that we can do to help. If you need me, this is how you get a hold of me. Please call 347-244-1550. 347-244-1550. I developed this company to help you, our families, and our community to fight this crisis on Long Island and in our nation. Thank you.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis, and my friend here, Stephen. So Stephen, we were just going to talk about, at this point in your recovery, you are able to go wherever you want to go because substances don't run your life.
They do not at all. I could go anywhere in the world. You know, as long, like I said before, like as long as my motives are correct.
Right.
Like if I'm going to the bar to prey on drunk girls, then I probably shouldn't go. But if I'm going to the bar for a strict social aspect or something's going on and I want to hang out with my friends, like that's okay. You know, like it's okay for me to be in a place that alcohol is being served. I don't have to hide anymore, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I just feel great. I feel like on top of the world, you know? I really am. I'm on top of the world.
You are on top of the world.
Every day is the best day of my life. It's not even a joke. Like, today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow's going to be better than today if I continue doing what I'm doing, you know? So, like, literally, I wake up every morning. Today's the best day of my life.
That's
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
You have a choice in the morning. Every morning, how you wake up is your choice.
See, the best part today, like, in recovery, I wake up with, first thing, I have a smile on my face, you know? I never knew true happiness. I would, like, put on this fake smile just to, like, make everyone think everything's good, and, like, really I was dying on the inside. Like, today, I have a smile, like, that's backed by, like, real emotions of joy, you know? Like, I truly know what it means to be happy, you know?
What are your friends, you know, well, obviously, if we're talking about Long Beach, surfing, the beach.
Well, I'm actually from Oceanside,
right.
So we're not like that surfer crew, but that's okay, you know. I do have a lot of friends in Long Beach. Most of my friends in Long Beach are the people I met in recovery because that's where I go for recovery. But like my friends from Oceanside, like I said, I lived in Florida before I got sober, so
yes.
like I disconnected really with a lot of people, you know, and like all my true friends that I grew up with, like my true core group of friends, like all went off and lived their lives like normal people, you know, and like I went a different route, along with a couple other of my friends went the same route as me, but like we're all sober today, you know, and not all, but the other ones that went the same route, you know, but the other ones are able to drink, they're able to party, and they're able to occasionally do cocaine if they want. They could do whatever they want to do because they're not addicts or alcoholics. At least I don't believe they are, or they don't believe they are. That's okay. Whatever part they're at in their life, they're at, you know.
You're not in control. It's none of your business.
And I'm not even concerned, you know.
Right.
Like, so I got reconnected with those kids that I lost touch with for so many years, you know. And like now, like we have true fun, you know. And like they drink while I'm there. We watch a game, and like, they're having beers. It's cool. It's no problem.
Right.
Yeah. If I felt like any type of feeling like jealousy that they were drinking or anything, like that's a problem with me, with my program, you know?
Absolutely.
Like if I have a resentment, or like if I'm angry or anything like that somebody's drinking, or like I have a reservation or anything, like that all has to do with me. Like it has nothing to do with anybody else, you know? Why should someone else damper their good time because Stephen can't drink? How self-centered would that be?
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then that's not, you're right. Then alcohol and substances still have control over you. And they don't. It has to be the other way around.
Yeah.
Otherwise you don't.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't hang out with people that shoot heroin, you know what I mean?
You can't. Right.
But you know, like I work with a client, like I'm a life coach also, you know, and I work with a client who like disposed with me like just yesterday. It was 10 bags of heroin. He asked me to get rid of it for him. And I was, using's not an option for me anymore. You know, like I'm in a place where I know I'm working a good program, and I was able to take that from him, and I was able to go discard it on my own, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, like it's like, after I did it, I was like, wow, like look where I am and where I was.
Look,
you know, it's like,
you know, and that's when you get down on your knees and you thank God that you're there.
Exactly.
So, and you're going to get you're getting your CASAC?
Yeah, actually, I graduate November 9th. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. From Brentwood, right?
Yeah, from
Outreach
OTI, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had an awesome experience, you know, and I loved it. I loved every second of it.
John Venza's been on the program, and they run a great program over there.
They do. They have that adolescent therapeutic community, and like they do wonders there. They really do.
They do wonders there. And isn't it, a sad fact of life that children from the age of 12 and on need to be in a rehabilitation?
You know what, though?
Thank God they're there.
If they say sober from that point on, they're like, wow, like how blessed are they? You know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome. I love nothing more than watching a young person walk through the doors of a 12-step program, and like, wow, like, you know, like that's awesome. Like I'm so happy to see that. Like I've seen 16-year-old people get sober.
That's great.
It's like, wow, like, and now they're like actual members of their family, actual members of their community, like actual members of the home group. Like they're they're living a life, you know, and it's beyond, I know it's beyond, my life's beyond my wildest dreams.
Yeah, and it's when you're that age, it's very hard. You know, first off, your emotional growth was stunted.
Yeah.
So you may be 16, but you may be 13, 14. So
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
you're lacking a little bit right now. So for them to grasp the concept that they cannot do substance.
Listen, if they walked into the doors, that means they were in enough pain. You know?
Yep.
And that's all that matters. Age has nothing to do with anything. If
No, it
if
doesn't.
I had enough pain and turmoil in my life that I found it necessary, or God found it necessary, that it was time for me to get sober, and I was able to act on that opportunity, then I know that that it's the right time. You know.
All experiences bring you to exactly where you're supposed to be in life.
Exactly.
If you look at it through those eyes.
Yeah. But like you have to stay humble too. You know.
Oh,
Don't get me
without a
wrong. Like I do get, my ego gets out of whack. You know. I am.
And I'm sure something happens then that knocks it right down where
I
it's
get knocked
supposed
on
to
my
be.
butt, you know, every
Yep.
time. But like I have to understand, like I'm no more of an example of God as anybody else in the world, than you, or than the homeless person, or the person smoking crack. Like we're all examples of God. I'm no more of an example of God as anyone else in the world. You know?
Absolutely. It's how you choose to show yourself, though.
Exactly. Like
Right.
I try to understand to situations and anything. Like there's no good and there's no bad. Like if I believed in good and bad, that means I believe in two powers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything just is God. That's it. Everything's just
Absolutely.
God. That's it. If I could look at it like that, and I could totally disconnect from the concept of good and bad, then I can just see God in everything.
You know, bad behavior doesn't make a person bad. All people are good. I believe that. It's what you choose to do with yourself and the actions that you take and the road that you choose.
Yeah,
right?
inside every man, woman, and child is the fundamental idea of God, you know? So like we're born with it, and then the calamities of life, and then all this other stuff comes into play, and like people are pushing their views on you, and then as you're growing up, you know, and then you build a shell, you know, like around this concept of God that like you now are totally disconnected from. And that's why most people have spiritual awakenings after times of turmoil or when they're totally broken, you know, because they have nowhere else to
They have no
to
place
look.
else to turn.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, it's easy to have faith when seemingly everything is going your way.
Yeah.
It's in the times of desperation.
Exactly. And that's why I believe that God like puts times of desperation in my life. He continues to have things not go my way, because if things were always going my way, why would I continue to seek him?
You wouldn't.
That's why some people say God wouldn't give you more than you can handle, but I believe that he does give you more than you can handle, so you can continue to seek him and you can continue to grow, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you just need to be thankful
Yeah,
for everything
always.
that happens.
None of this is me. None of this is my doing. You know, I have, you know, my hands are up. It's all
When
him.
you wake up, every day is,
The-
you can find a blessing in every day, no matter how bad or good of a day you think you're having.
Exactly. I never had one bad day. I have bad moments.
A bad moment,
Sometimes
right?
a lot of bad moments in a row in one day, you know, but like if I stay in the moment, like a moment later, that's in the past. You know, so
Absolutely.
I've never had a bad day, not once.
That's a great outlook. I'm sure that whoever gets to be your sponsee or gets to be around you, you're a powerful example of what hope recovery looks like.
You know, like hopefully I'm able to shine the light through me, and then they're able to get attracted to that light, and then they can get in contact with their higher power, and then they can have the same process and same opportunities I had, and then they can do that with somebody else, and that's how we continue to grow. You know?
Because, you know, through your lifetime, for as many people as you can help, you have no idea how far-reaching it goes from there then.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a domino effect. I have no idea where it goes after that, you know?
It's just amazing. It
Exactly.
really is. And you don't have to worry about it. It's not your...
It doesn't matter.
It's not your...
I just
you
continue
know,
to do the next right thing. That's
you
it.
just plant the seed,
Yep,
and God will do the watering.
exactly.
So talk to me about your not-for-profit.
Okay, so I started this non-for-profit organization. It's called the Slate Project. It stands for Saving Lives from Addiction Through Treatment and Education. and basically what we gear towards, or what we're gearing towards right now, I should say, because it's very early stages, is educating the youth. And so I speak at schools. I spoke at the Police Activity League, to the basketball camp, anywhere where I'm able to get a speaking commitment to speak to the kids, or even parents, or even the school staff. I've done that too.
Yeah.
But listen, the youth is the future. You know what I mean? I truly believe that. Like, it has to start with them. Like they're the ones that are going to be the future. And like I know, like for my generation, I can help the people that are already at the point that want help, but I can't eradicate anything. But like if I can, not just me, like everybody should be doing this. But
everybody should be doing this.
But like that's why my life story is my greatest asset today. All my whole dark past is my greatest asset.
If there's a lot that's going on with addiction in the world, and it needs to happen. It's in it's in politics now, and it'll be part of the presidential election. The president just spoke on it. There's a lot going on regarding the whole movement and people seeking change. Mm-hmm. However, that's all great, but if we don't start speaking into elementary school children now, 5 years from now, we'll still be in the same place that we are, because we haven't educated our babies coming up.
Well, like I'm not really in elementary schools. I don't know if parents.
Well,
really,
elementary school from
my approach,
10 to 12 years.
Yeah. Well, my approach is maybe different than what's necessary for an elementary school kid. Like I might not be qualified for that, but like what I am qualified for is to speak to the middle schools and the high schools, and I don't teach them, really educate them on what drugs are. Remember the DARE project? Do you know why it doesn't work? Does it know why it stopped? Because it didn't work. It piqued interest. And I'm not a cop. I'm not an official. I'm not a person of authority. I'm just a young person who knows exactly what they might be going through.
It's powerful because you're not telling them not to do anything.
Yeah, I'm just saying what happened to me.
The consequences of what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important for them to hear.
And that there's a way out.
And there's a way out. And there's a way out. But kids that are 10 years old in today's world, as a parent, you want to think that your 10-year-old is a pure 10-year-old. But unfortunately, the media does a great job of educating kids on way too many things that they're not equipped to deal with the consequences of. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
So
they get robbed of their innocence.
They get robbed of their innocence. So we need to just keep the scale balanced.
Yeah.
So if they have all gotta just even it out with consequences.
Saying the best part about the Slate Project is that the money that I receive for whether it's speaking engagements, I do community outreach, or whether it's a fundraiser, or any way that money, I have a bank account set up, so like any way that the money that goes into Slate, it all gets pumped back into the community, So like whether we're paying for flights for people to go to treatment, whether it's scholarshiping someone sober housing, whether it's buying materials for a center, whether it's anything, any way that I can help an addict in need, like that's where the money's going, It's getting pumped right back into the community, and then it makes the community stronger, and I get the community involved, and then all these different angles get involved, and like that's the best chance to help with this epidemic.
Absolutely. We need to be a society that parents, it's not, they're all our children. They're all important parts of society.
Yeah.
And we have to look at it that way. Not my kid wouldn't do that. No, stay away from that kid because that kid is, no. Yeah. We have to end that.
Exactly.
We have to look out for one another. The golden rule. Treat other people as you would like to be treated.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. It's a Gandhi quote. It's my favorite quote.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after this message.
Hi everyone, I'm Karen Vito from the hit show Shake It Up with Karen and Regina that's filmed live right here at Madhousetv. I want to thank Madhousetv for allowing me to talk to you today about a very important organization called Mondays at Racine. Mondays at Racine provides beauty and wellness services to those undergoing chemotherapy and radiation for cancer. We have an event coming up on Monday, October 26th at the Crest Hollow Country Club called the Long Island Beauty Ball. The Long Island Beauty Ball is going to be the event of the year. I want you to come down and join us, do things like the lash bar and the lipstick lounge, and we're going to have psychics and, of course, a beer garden and wine garden. We even have a Monday Night Football for you guys. So I would love to see you there at this event. If for whatever reason you can't make it, you could always donate directly to mondaysatracine.org. But for ticket information, please go to www.longislandbeautyball.com. This organization will use the money raised at this event for the expansion of the program to other salons all over the country. So we would love to be able to treat more people and help them feel really special. So please come on down. I'll see you there. Thanks.
Hey everybody, I want to tell you about something phenomenal. A casino night, November 13th. Bets for Vets. We're going to have some big headliners there. Tommy Marr, rock and roll legend from Long Island. Les Deegan is going to be there singing some crooning songs. We're going to have two phenomenal comedians, Tim Thompson and impersonator comedian John Santos. We're going to have a great DJ there. $20 admission. The door opens up at 6 p.m. November 13th. And it's 370 Vanderbilt Motor Parkway in Hauppauge. 6 p.m. November 13th. $20 admission. The doors open up at 6 p.m. plus a complete casino night. We'll have blackjack, slot machines, you name it, it will be there. Grand prizes, 50-50, door prizes, things like flat screen TVs. I mean, this is going to be big. So mark your calendars for November 13th. Please, guys, come out, support our veterans.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin. Galaxy Luxury.
Welcome back to Long Island in Crisis and my special guest, Stephen Dodge. So you have your not-for-profit.
I do.
And you're raising money, and it's going to be funneled back into helping people suffering with the disease of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And how does it make you feel to speak in front of an audience?
My ego loves it.
Yeah.
Listen, I love it, you know. Like, the feelings I get from doing that service on that level is, like, beyond anything I can even put into words, you know.
I know.
And it's so impactful, too. It's, like, it's crazy. Like, the kids reach out to me, or obviously a lot of them don't want to approach you in front of their peers. Why would they, you know? But, like,
right.
They do find a way to contact me, and it's an awesome feeling. You know, as I say, like, when you speak from the mind, you reach a person's mind, and when you speak from the heart, you reach a person's heart. But, like, when you speak from actual life experience, like, you have the ability to impact and change lives, you know?
Oh, yeah. And it's sometimes it's just nice, for me, when I do speaking, that parents know what I'm going through, other people are going through, or they've gone through it. And this is not just limited to me, because you and I both know the disease of addiction looks to separate your family.
Yeah.
Just break it apart. You
And,
know,
and look at me too. Like I'm 25, but I look like I just graduated high school. You know, like
Right.
these kids literally can see themselves in me. You know.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. But kids, especially kids, they want to identify. I mean, you're cool. You're cool to them because you're a little bit older,
A little
right?
older, I got tattoos. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
You're everything they think they want to be.
Mhm.
But you're trying to give them an education of what not to be.
Exactly. It's like it's cool to do the right thing. It's cool to
It's
be
cool.
sober. You know.
It's cool
Yeah.
to be sober. Why do you think that so many young people want to escape reality?
I don't know.
I have my own
you know?
thoughts, you know.
I don't know. And listen, I didn't use to run away. You know, I drank and I used drugs because I enjoyed the effect of alcohol and drugs. You know, like
Okay.
I liked the way they felt. You know, and then like I liked the way they felt better than the way I felt when I wasn't on it. You know, I don't know if it's
Okay.
like a subconscious thing or not, but like I enjoyed the way that alcohol and drugs made me feel, and I wanted to feel that way always. You know, and then I crossed that invisible line from recreation to dependency, and I had no idea because I never tried to stop until it was like too late. You know?
Yeah.
And then I lived for like 2 years of trying to quit every morning, you know, and now I'm using it against my own will, and then that's the scariest thing ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's when you realized, I can't do this by myself.
Well, once I hit a point where I believe today it was a divine intervention, you know, but I hit a point where I just fell to my knees and I said, I can't do this anymore. Not for my mom, not for a girl. I can't do this for me, you know.
Right.
Something's got to change. I had that like one little, and I've had those thoughts and feelings before, but I never acted on them. Like I had that one little opening of willingness that I had the choice, either act now or let it pass, and maybe it'll come back again, maybe it won't. I don't know, you know. So I chose to act on it that time.
And fortunately, you got into
Fortunately,
treatment.
I got into treatment. Yeah.
Because that's really the worst thing that can happen today. That window opens so
And-
small for such a brief period of time before that person says, never mind.
Yeah. And like I'm sure you can identify with this too, because you work with people trying to get them into treatment, and like I do as well. You know, people like I've put myself out there so much that people in my town and community, they know to go to me. You know, and like I love that. I love that. It's not a burden to me at all. You know, like
Right.
I welcome it with open arms. You know, like I'm glad I'm that person. You know, but like sometimes people come to me. All right, my son or whatever, I want treatment, like, and then I'm trying for days to get them into treatment, and it's like I can't, like, sometimes I can't help the people. Luckily now I have some connections where I can. I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to help others in that way, but like, in the beginning, like, I was just making the same phone calls that they probably were making to, you know, to
Exactly.
the same places.
Exactly.
I mean, luckily now, like, I've networked and I've done my research a little bit, and I've formed relationships with others that, like, I have more availability than probably a lot of average people do.
While
you
we're
know?
speaking on this, in Nassau County on Long Island, because this show goes all over the place, but if we're talking specifically in New York State on Long Island, in Nassau County, people can go to Freeport, right?
New Hope.
To
Yeah.
New Hope.
Love that. I have a commitment there.
And
yeah.
you can get into treatment immediately and get into, you know, medically assisted detox and have a safe place to stay, and they will hold you until they find treatment for
I
you.
have loved ones that went through that exact program.
Thomas went there.
It's funny too, because people say, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to stay sober, and then it's like, okay, but you got to go to this crisis center, and then go, and that's not the plan that they had in mind. So then
Exactly,
they're like,
but-
well, I can't do that, you know?
No.
Oh, no, there's no way I'll do that. Well, then you're not
Exactly.
willing to do whatever it takes to stay sober, you know?
Exactly. So, you know,
When the pain of using outweighs the pain of getting sober, recovery becomes possible.
oh, I've heard all
Yeah.
types of things. Oh, I looked at that place on a website, and
Yeah.
the beds don't look comfortable.
Yeah. Are
You worried
kidding me?
about a bed?
You can go to the best place in the country, Hazleton. You could go to Hazleton and not really want it or not be willing, and it's not going to work. Or you can go to some hole-in-the-wall place that's whatever, you know, but like you want to get sober and you have that willingness and you can be successful, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in Suffolk County, we have Talbot House, which is a crisis center.
I know, yeah.
So you can show up there, you can get help, you can be safe.
The resources are there.
The resources are there if you want to find them.
Mhm.
There's always going to be somebody that's willing to help you.
Yeah, and it's not like they're hidden gems, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're out in the open. Like these resources are readily available to everybody, you know? And some people they have their own prefixed idea of what they think treatment and recovery should be. And like that's when you have to put your tail between your legs and say, I'm broken, I don't know anything. Show me the way.
St.
you know?
Christopher's Inn up in Garrison, New York, which is run
Another
by...
place, I've spoken there.
Yeah, it's, I love going up there and speaking to the people there and been witness to when the men line up to go to dinner
Mhm.
and they stand in two lines, completely quiet, with a tucked-in shirt, button-down shirt, just showing respect. And they stand there and they are supposed to just contemplate that someone put a roof over their head and is going to feed them today.
Mhm. Yeah.
And to be thankful for that.
Yeah, and that's what people don't get, like how grateful they should be to just be in treatment anywhere.
Absolutely.
You got
Anywhere.
a bed. All I wanted was a bed when I was trying to find
Right.
treatment. That's all I wanted. Like people take it for granted that like I'm in a treatment facility with a bed and I'm getting 3 meals a day, no matter what. I'm able to
matter
eat 3
what.
meals a day. You know, that was when
I'm
I was
being
doing treatment. I
supported.
was like, I'm gonna eat 3 meals a day. You know, I can't wait. I was so underweight. It was crazy.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well,
I was 23 years old. I was weighing 113 pounds.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness. I know.
Yeah, I'm like 160 now.
That's
It's crazy.
but that's what you're supposed to be.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm
That's what
healthy
you're
weight.
supposed to
Yeah.
be. So let's, while we're talking about being underweight, so you are the picture of recovery now. But if someone is wondering if their loved one is doing drugs or not doing drugs, let's talk about some signs. For me, I know, for my son, was the weight. When you start to see the cheeks
Yeah, you see,
hollow
yeah, the weight,
and the eyes
the
dark,
skin tone.
tone.
But aside from physical loss of interest in things that they had so much interest in, I know for me,
Loss of interest in even showering, because
yeah,
I know
hygiene, yeah, all of that. Yeah.
and the layers start to come on, and the
Mhm.
more layers, so that you don't see that they're becoming
Yeah. Not
wasted
looking you in
away.
the eyes when they're talking,
Yeah,
things like that.
spoons missing,
Spoons missing. is a big
rubber
one.
bands.
Yep. Well, it depends on what substance they're using.
It
but
does. So in early signs, I always said, find a lot of Visine around the house. Oh, well, that's not a big deal. Oh, it is a big
It
deal.
is though, because that means they're smoking pot regularly enough
Correct.
to know that they should hide it from you.
Right.
know?
And, it's so funny. When I was a kid, and even my children, they never wanted to carry a backpack with them, ever, even to school. So on a weekend, when I see all these kids riding around Kings Park, where I live, with backpacks on, do you know what's in your kid's backpack?
Yeah, come on. They're not carrying literature. I
They're not
promise you that.
carrying
Yeah.
literature. They're not carrying books. And if they're willing to put it on inside the house when they're leaving, so that maybe they have their rollerblades in there or a ball, whatever it is that they may be going to do,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if your kid puts their backpack out in the garage or around the corner
Yeah.
and leaves
And
your
some
house to go and
some
do it,
parents want to be the cool parent. I want to be liked. I want to be a friend. You're not a friend. You're their parent.
you're their
Be
parent
stern,
first and foremost.
Smell their breath. You know what? If drug test them, they're
You
going to
do
say
what
they're
you
not
have
going
to
to. They're
do.
not going to take a drug test. Okay, then you can't stay at my house, right? That's it.
Absolutely.
Like this is my house. This is my rules. And like it. And you know what? You can be that considered crazy parent. This, and that, and the third. And at the end of the day, you could be saving their life. you know?
Without a doubt. We're going to pick up on this in a second. We'll be right back after this commercial.
Hi, I'm Tom Mealy, one of the founders here at Madhouse TV. People ask me all the time what motivates me and what makes Madhouse TV different than all the other internet broadcasting studios around the world. Well, I tell you, what motivates me are the people we get to meet, the people we get to help, and the lives that we change by allowing their medium here at the studio. And I think that that's what my motivation is. What makes us different? Madhouse TV has been around for the past 5 years. We have a solid foundation. We've seen studios come and go. We've seen studios in basements, garages, shacks, little shanties all over the place. People wanting to do this type of media. This is the media of the future. So what makes us different? Here at Madhouse TV, our team, Tommy Marr, Vicky, Janine, we take this very seriously. This is not a joke. This is a very serious business. And to be serious, you need to spend money. And to need to spend money, you have to have the best equipment possible to make the best video and the best broadcast possible. And here at Madhouse TV, that's exactly what we strive to do. We got a strong foundation. We're going to be around for a long time. You know, they look at me every once in a while when I come up with an idea and they say, oh boy, here we go again. But you know what? It's that, oh boy, here we go again, that keeps us the best. And we will continue to strive forward to do whatever it takes to be the best internet broadcasting studio in America. And I got to be honest with you folks, we're on that path. Over the past several years, we have had some of the top entertainers here in this studio. We've had lunch with people like The Who. We've had people in here like George Thorogood's Destroyers. Tommy Marr has been inspirational in bringing some of the biggest talent in the world right here to the studio. You know, that's what it's all about. Once you're the biggest, once you're the best, they're going to come. So we're offering all of you out there who want to have a shot at media, want to have a shot at being on television, give us a call here at Madhouse TV. We'd love to talk to you. Our prices are unbelievably reasonable. This is not CBS. We never planned to be CBS. So if you want to be on TV, you want to get your message across, you have a non-for-profit that you got to get that message out to people of hope, give us a call at 631-882-6900. We're here to help. We're here to have a good time. And most of all, we're here to become the best and the biggest in this business. Thanks so much.
Welcome back to Long Island Crisis, and Stephen and I are just talking about really signs and symptoms. I always like to empower parents with this. It's not even parents; it could be anybody.
Yeah,
you know,
the addicts are the best at hiding,
lying, manipulating,
exactly,
and doing what they have to do.
The reason I would lie and manipulate is to protect my drinking and using. If
Of
anything was going to
course.
get in the way of my drinking and using, I was going to do anything I could, anything in my power to stop that. You know.
You're protecting your baby.
Yeah. So it's like sometimes when it's at the point of where it's like I can tell these symptoms, my face is sucked, like skin tone, all that. It's like you already crossed that line. You know. That's a scary part.
And it is scary as a parent. If you don't open the door and you don't ask the questions, it doesn't mean it's not going on.
Mm-hmm.
If you think there's something wrong, there's already something very wrong.
You should have the discussion whether you think it or not. You know?
Right. And
education.
From a parent's point of view, when I asked, we're going to do a drug test, well, I don't have to pee. Okay, let's start drinking some water. You will have to. There's no excuse not to. And if there's an excuse not to, and the excuse is, I can't believe you don't trust me, I can't believe you, the addict is very good at putting the blame back on the person that's trying
Definitely.
to
And I know for me,
stop their efforts.
Like I would just say, oh, I'm not peeing in a cup for you. Like that's weird, Like I would say anything.
Anything.
And then, but parents will start to agree with them because they don't want to see the truth. They don't want to know. They really don't want to see that their kid is the kid that has a problem with drugs and alcohol. It's denial, and like that's them being just as sick as the addict.
Absolutely. So that's why it's so important. I'm so proud to be, on the board of directors for Families in Supportive Treatment, FIST. The person struggling with the disease has to seek treatment, and the family has to seek treatment also.
100%.
Because they cannot, the person struggling can't come back to the same household.
Exactly. And like a lot of people might be using because their family dynamic is not normal. You know?
Absolutely.
Like,
they need to escape that.
exactly. And like even like once that family dynamic, like this is what the whole family sees as normal. So like when that person goes for treatment and they break that family dynamic and now they're coming back and they're not in that same pattern and regularity that they were always in, the whole family gets screwed up and they get skewed and they don't know what to do because the whole family pattern is different. And then they're like, oh, you know, like you could just have one beer, or like they start thinking like this kid was better when things were better when they were drinking, you know, because
Right.
they don't understand like that they're just as sick as the individual that has a substance abuse problem, you know?
It's called enabling.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a little poster that I've seen online, and it says, if I hate to say addict, so I always like to say, if the person struggling with addiction is happy with your behavior, you're enabling. If the person struggling is mad at you, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
You know, kids, you will be friends with your children when they're old enough to be your friend.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. My mom is my best friend. Like,
Right.
she truly is. But when I was younger, she was the one person I always had to make sure I was covered all my tracks with, because like I didn't want her to know. If everyone else in the world knew except for my mom, that was okay. You know, she couldn't know.
The night before my son died, he had just come back from St. Christopher's, actually, and we had a really long talk about a lot of things, and he had plans, and the one thing that I hold closest to my heart is he said, "Thanks for always having my back, and I know what it cost you in your heart, but you always had my back." And the tough love and doing the things that certainly never would I have thought that I would have had to do, but I had to do them.
Mm-hmm.
That he always knew where he stood with me, that I always had his best interest. And that's not anything that anybody can ever take away from me.
That's awesome. Hold on to that forever. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's why you started to realize like the people that you thought were on your back really had your back.
Yeah.
You know?
Right, but you have to have that clarity of
You have to
the
be
moment.
clear-headed.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
So, Stephen, you and I are going to start to do some talking together, which
Yeah.
I'm really
I'm
looking forward to.
I'm super excited for
because
that.
I think we're going to be like the 1-2 knockout punch.
Let's do it. I'm
hit
so excited for that.
Going to hit children from their parents' point of view, which sometimes they don't want to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll know what I'm saying is true. You don't always hear it from your mom and dad, but you'll think that somebody else is, you know, it's just human nature.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I really am looking forward to doing
I
that, because
cannot
we're going to
wait.
change
Yeah.
the world.
That's the
We're going
plan.
to change the world.
That's the plan. I'm not resting. You know, that's all
No.
I know.
I'm so proud, you know, and I'm so happy that people get to see stories of recovery like this, because recovery is possible, it's attainable, it's hard work, it'll kick your butt, but it's all worth it.
Yeah. Like people ask me like why do you go above and beyond like the program, you know? And like this is what I was meant to do, you know? Like I was meant to do this. Like I have my calling.
You have
know?
your calling.
Like I'm not
It's a
stopping,
passion.
you know?
Don't stop. Don't ever stop.
I will not stop.
Because you don't know that one day that you're going to make a difference. You know, and never give that up.
Exactly.
Never give it up. It's an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling when
uncomparable.
it comes full circle. And you won't know, but God will give you those few people.
Yeah, and it's okay. I don't ever have to find out the people that I help, you know? Like,
But it's awful nice.
But
when
it's
you get
nice
to
when
see
it's awesome
yeah.
when I do, but like I may never find out, and I just have to keep faith in God that like that I am making the difference, you know, because I'm doing His will, not mine.
Thank you so much for being here
Thank
tonight.
you for having me.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. Have a great week. Please, you know, you can Facebook message certainly the Slate Project if you want to get in touch with Stephen and or Thomas's Hope. send private messages. We're here to help anyone and everyone that we possibly can, turn you in the right direction. Have a great week.
Another dark hotel room, musty people.